What's up YouTube? Today we have a very interesting motorcycle, the Suzuki Katana 1000. This is one of the rare motorcycles that we'll see in India because of few reasons. First of all, it was not sold so much, predominantly because of the looks. Second thing, people were not known to these kind of modern retro motorcycles. So yes, I really got a chance to ride this. So this is not my first ride. I've ridden this motorcycle a couple of times before as well. So I just thought I'll make a video on this. Currently this model is discontinued in India. Probably this will come in another 1 year. So this is such a badass motorcycle to look, to ride, and the way how it feels. Everything is so cool. Main highlight of the motorcycle is two things. One, the look, the retro looks. By the way, the Katana actually got launched in 1981 if I'm not wrong, and by then they were like developing this motorcycle in terms of engine, chassis, looks, everything. This is the final format of it. But you know, that kind of a boxy headlight comes from the past. This motorcycle is actually a bridge between the past and the present. The actual retro raw motorcycles with the new electronics. So this is a bridge for that. So this headlight was there in the previous Katana. I think in 1990s the Katana used to have a flap headlight, just like what you have seen with the McLaren and the Ferraris back in those days. It's like it flaps and opens. So the headlight was like that, and now we don't have that kind of a thing because less of electronics, less trouble. That's the logic. And then it comes with a K5 engine. So this is the K5 engine, means this was developed in 2005, and it was used for the MotoGP back then, and it has won a lot of trophies. This was able to beat the Yamahas, Hondas and all other fast bikes at that point in time. And even though Suzuki has developed different engine, the K6 in 2006 and many other engines after this, they were actually convinced to use this engine for this motorcycle. So now also this Katana and the Suzuki GSX-S and the GT, all those motorcycles, even the GSX-R comes with the same engine with a different tuning. So without wasting much time, let's do it. Before that, it's got a really throaty exhaust sound. So let's go for the ride. Before we move on, let's admire the backside of the motorcycle. Man, I think the Japanese designed the front of the motorcycle, but the Italians designed the rear. Look at that, man, look at that. I haven't seen this much beautiful tail section of a motorcycle, a naked motorcycle. I know that, yeah, MV Agustas makes much better looking back for motorcycles, but you know, from a Japanese motorcycle, this is insane. Come, let's go for the ride. By the way, it feels like a rally bike kind of a thing. The head is down and you have a raised handlebar and you have almost a flat seat kind of a thing. But you know, there's this a little bit of scoop here. You need this because you will be sitting over here once the motorcycle starts rolling. That's the instrumentation cluster. You have a lot of things there, a bit cluttered. You have 3 riding modes, A, B, C. Pretty basic, you know. It's in the alphabetic order. A comes with the most power and everything, and B with less power and throttle response, and C a little more less power and throttle response. And we have 5 levels of traction control to adjust with, and a quick shifter. That's it. Alright, let's do it. By the way, it has got an enormous amount of turning radius because I was not able to take a U-turn in this road itself. It feels like you're actually driving a car. It's a little difficult in these kind of roads. So once the road ends, you have to stop the Katana. Man, crazy. Feels so nice. Feels so nice. Yeah, I was talking about the engine. So the engine was developed in 2005, and later Suzuki had many other engines after this. They developed over this engine, and then they have chosen to fall back to the K5 engine because of many reasons. Because this is a long stroke engine in the inline 4 family. If you see the S1000RR, that has a 49mm stroke and this one has a 59mm stroke. So almost 10mm means it's a huge difference. So the bore is different obviously. So when you have a bigger stroke, the advantage is you get a lot of torque. So this thing has torque from around 3000 RPM. So you get that initially, and the first 3 gears on this motorcycle is taller in the sense it takes enormous amount of time, and in the sense I'm not talking about the speeds, but in the third gear red line you'll hit the 200 kilometer mark. So generally in inline 4 this kind of motorcycle you will be having shorter gearing. So the first 3 gears are taller and the next 3 gears are shorter. So in the third gear itself you will hit the 200 kilometer per hour. And this one, the engine is so famous because it's more torquey. That's the reason why it won a lot of competitions back then. Somebody's touring, man, that's a ZX10R and he's touring on it. Much respect. Yeah, I was talking about the engine. So since this has a lot of torque, this has got a good character to ride inside city. But the power A mode is brutal inside the city. You really don't need that much amount of power to ride inside city. Probably you have to go with the B or the C. And too many super bikes today. And also because of this long stroke engine, this has a very typical exhaust note. This sometimes feels like a car engine. It's like it is more abrasive. It's like in the other side of the spectrum with the S1000RR you'll have zzz, and this comes with the boo and that kind of a bassy sound. And most of the time this motorcycle get confused for the car sound. Let's pull it hard. Let's see if we have it. Oh, it's a Hayabusa. Don't have much road today, but that was a crazy pull. So that's the history of the engine, and that is one reason why this historical engine is still used in many of the modern day motorcycle. There goes an RR. But the beauty is the engine, and the beast is also the engine, but the riding posture is something much different. Now I'm going in 100 km per hour. I don't have much trouble. Oh, nice to see them. Too many super bikes today. So the riding posture is much different. It has got a committed riding posture. It has got a seat where you have to use the backrest, in the sense you have to be a little more closer to the pillion when you sit on the motorcycle, because this is a normal riding stance, and here you go. And also the front headlight dome sits way down, so you have a lot of wind blast. You get wind protection till 120, and I was not so comfortable riding it beyond 150, 160 like this. So if you have to tour like that, like somebody is doing a super sport touring, super sport touring is much better than this, I believe, because you might be able to clock a 180 or even close to 200 cruising, because you get a lot of wind protection. But on this one you have to sit like this. This is what I'm talking about. My ass is now touching the rear seat, but it gives a lot of comfort. The seat is roomy, and the ride feel is actually a little bit stiff. So if you see the front suspension as well as the rear suspension, I believe the rear suspension is made out of bricks. Let me see who made it. So most probably it's from bricks. So it is hell tighter, and it gives a lot of feedback. I appreciate it, because the harder the suspension, the harder you can corner, the better the feedback. But each of all these things that you see on the road being felt on my ass, which I really don't need when I'm casually cruising, but if I'm on the track, definitely I'll be liking it. And you got a wider handlebar. It is good. The fun fact is it doesn't have much of a turning radius, as I said, but this wider handlebar will make you feel that you're gonna have a lot of turning radius. Eventually, the day one when I was taking this motorcycle, and I did a U-turn in a 4-lane road, and I was about to tip out of the motorcycle because of that, because my vision was correct, and I was thinking in my CBR 650 way, and I was just like, I'm going, and the bike is like, no, I'm not coming, like I have a bigger curve to take out, and it just went like that. So So that's a fun fact. But the rider's triangle is good. You have a very wide handlebar and better U-shape of your chest, because you know a lot of wind gonna come, so otherwise everything will be gone in the wind. And the lower body, the foot peg position is also good. It's not too like committed, it's not too raised, it's almost underneath the butt, so you get that feel. And the braking is good. I love it. Even though the suspension is harder, the braking feels progressive, in the sense I'm telling that it's not the sharpest brake that you will see. It is there, it is progressive, but if the brakes were also super sharp, then the thing is the whole of the ride becomes very much track focused. But this one feels good. Alright, I think we have a little bit of open road. Let's do this. You see that it takes a lot of time. You see the whole of the RPM. Whew. I got a heart in the mouth moment, not because of the Katana, because I saw that dog which made an instant flick to the road. So it's always risky. Just be careful if you're doing all these kind of things on the road. So yeah, let's come back to the Katana. So in Japanese, the Katana means a sword, and it does complete justice when it comes to the highway or probably on the track. But you know, when it comes to the city, it's not so much comfortable to ride, in the sense it takes a little bit of effort to ride it, predominantly because of the tougher suspension and the way the weight distribution is. But you know, it's not too much uncomfortable. It has a little bit of heating issues, but not too bad. And ground clearance is one surprising thing that I see with the motorcycle. You know, if you are riding alone and if you weigh between 60 to 80 kg, you won't be having much trouble riding this super bike, because generally that's the trouble when it comes to big bikes. You will have very less ground clearance, but it's not like that. And the pillion comfort is there on this motorcycle, just that you make sure you need to have some kind of grab rail or something to keep your pillion in place. Otherwise you better pick them up from the vehicle behind you, because it's so powerful and it just takes up like that. So when this motorcycle was sold, it was for around 13.5 lakh ex-showroom, and which is actually a good deal. A 1000cc motorcycle for that price is very good, and of course you get that modern to retro connection, which is good. The fun fact is, the thing which made this motorcycle not popular is the fuel efficiency and the tank capacity. So the fuel efficiency is something between 12 to 15 for my kind of riding, if you see, and you can get a better mileage of 15 to 20 km per liter if you are riding in 80, and you don't want to do that on a GSXR engine. So that combined with the 12 liter tank, wherein the usable fuel is 10 liter, you have nothing, man. You are left with nothing. Every 120 kilometers to 150 kilometers you have to stop, and if you being the modest kid in the block, you will be riding a max of 170 kilometers. That's all. So you know, you have to stop every now and then to fuel up, and that's something weird, you know, because say if you're going for a group ride and you will be the one who will be stopping for fuel all the time, so that's a big hit. And the service is good actually, so it gets serviced once in 6,000 kilometers and will cost you 8,000 rupees, which is not bad. So let's look at the verdict of the motorcycle. Like, I really say that this is a big connect between the modern and the retro. I like it because when you ride this motorcycle, you get to know that you are riding an older engine. You don't feel like the modern high revving engine. It is an high revving engine, but the long stroke feel is there, especially when you're using the clutch. You get that feel of dumping the clutch and the bike goes in. So it's kind of debatable whether you like it or not. A person like me who have grown up seeing all those things will truly appreciate it, but the rest of the people, I don't think they will like it, especially the Gen Z kids, because they have never seen these kind of motorcycles in their young age. So I was looking onto these kind of bikes back then. So it's a truly great piece of engineering to own. But yeah, the tank capacity is the main hit, you know. You have to be bare with it, and also the instrument cluster is something which I didn't like. So it's little congested. You have all the information, but it's too much congested. There's a feel that you get, and 3 riding modes, and that's enough if you are liking it. But the rain, road, dynamic and all those things doesn't come here. So it's just a plain machine where you can corner, wheelie, do stoppies, and have some fun. Like no electronics, you are left with the bi-directional quick shifter and the traction control. There is nothing fancy on this. So if you like that kind of a feel, definitely you like it. And the thing is, yeah, like yesterday I was riding and one person was constantly following me, and like he wanted to look like, which motorcycle is this? Then he came to the front and I saw his face like, what? This bike, why is it looking like that in the front? So he possibly thought that it's a modified motorcycle. But you know, it's fun to ride. The K5 engine is super fun to live with if you are okay with the drinking problem of the bike. So that's the review on the Katana 1000. I'm so happy to ride such a legendary engine today, you know, because I never thought that I'll be able to get a hands on this one. And Suzuki is actually rooting on this engine for all the motorcycles in the segment. So I have seen the GSX S1000F and the GT. GT is one of my favorite motorcycles in this segment because it's a sports tourer. So all of these get this. So I believe someday Suzuki will bring all these motorcycles to India, and that day I wish I could ride the GT. But until then, the Katana. So I hope this video is helpful for you, and as always, show some love in the form of likes and comments. See you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.